information consciously into groups of 3 or whatever. But at some point, I've got to sort of draw the line and say, okay, these many I'll treat as one group, and then the next group of 15 or 20 or whatever. So I had one group of 15, one group of 16, one group of 14, and one group of 15 in this particular case. But I like to sort of draw a marker anywhere from 15 to 20. It's really flexible.
What form of association are you using?
I do not consciously make use of any form of associations. I just think of each of these items one digit at a time. He's asking what form of associations I am using. 1 minute, guys, real quickly. I've been memorizing numbers from a young age, and this skill is highly automatized. It's like when someone learns to play the piano, they have to put in a lot of effort to begin with. But a concert pianist will simply, I can't use my fingers to demonstrate it here. Their fingers fly over the keys, and then if you ask them to give a verbal report as to how they do it, they'll find it very difficult to do it. Or like typing is another example, typewriting. Yes? Good question. I do visualize the digits as they're read out, but that doesn't mean that I have a photographic memory, okay? I do visualize it just as, say, if I ask you, okay, what's on the table in your living room? It's impossible, almost impossible for most people to answer that without in some way visualizing their living room, right? Even for a brief period. To that extent, I visualize, but I don't have a photographic memory. Yes? Can I do this thing with words and other things other than numbers? These are all very good questions, guys. And the answer is, I'm good with words and letters. For instance, my letter span is 14, and my word span is 14, which is still not bad, but it turns out that these type of skills are very specific to one type of material, all right? And in my case, it's numbers, and for other types of materials, like with words, I'm well above average. With some things, I'm below average. I have very bad memory for appointments, or sense of direction is very bad. Yes?
Are you visualizing vertically or horizontally or just there?
Okay, do I visualize these digits vertically or horizontally, or how do I do it? I visualize them vertically, but that's just a mode of preference because we are so used to reading text material from left to right. That's the reason. Yes?
I forgot my question. When you do this, you did 60 with really very little problem. But one digit you got wrong going both directions in the same place.
No, no. No.
My question is, if you do 60 so effortlessly,
You gave me a heart attack, guys.
so effortlessly, what is your limit? To what extent have you stretched it?
In fact, one of my students who's here, Connie, asked me this question just before we began. He's asking to how many digits can I do at a stretch? Can I do more than 60? Right now, I can get to about, I don't know, shall we say about 90 digits or so? But 90 to 100. But usually, I like to sort of be a little modest in my exhibitions. At least make sure I don't make a mistake, all right? I mean, 60 is good enough for most people.
And for how long will you remember that?
How long can I remember this? Well, that's variable. I might remember this for a few years. I might forget this the next day. But
So you remember now a list maybe you did a week ago?
yes, I remember thousands of lists like this. But I've also forgotten a lot. Sure. I mean, if you. Yeah. Is this a talent I'm born with? A lot of people feel that these things are genetic. My father knew all of Shakespeare by heart, all his 37 plays and 154 sonnets. My grandfather, who was Accountant General of India, had a very good memory for numbers. But that's not sufficient evidence to say it's genetics, because, I mean, it's like I grew up in an environment where memorization and learning was encouraged. You know, it's like, let's say, if John Lennon's son, Julian Lennon, is a good guitarist, it's entirely unclear as to whether that is genetic or whether it's the influence of parenting. The evidence we have, what's the evidence? Is it nature or nurture? The evidence that we have as of today, and my advisor Anders Ericsson has done a lot of work on this, is that a lot of these skills can be developed through extensive practice. In fact, he and I have been working on expertise in different fields like music or sport. It usually takes 10 years for someone to start from scratch and to have sustained motivation over 10 years. Now that's easy to say, that everyone can do it through motivation, but the motivation is a key factor. And let me tell you this real quick. How many of you maintain a diary or have been maintaining a diary every day for the past 1 year? Anybody can do it, right? But you know how much motivation it takes? That's $1 million point, okay? So few people maintain a diary of their activities every day simply because people don't feel motivated enough to do these things. Yes?
How old are you and what do you teach?
Pardon me?
How old are you and what do you teach?
I teach cognitive psychology. I teach a 3500 level course in cognitive psychology, and I'm doing my PhD in cognitive psychology. And I've got a couple of master's degrees too. I say all this because before Bob read off these digits, some question came up about similarities with Rain Man, and so it's like I feel compelled to say that. How old am I? Okay, I am be unashamed about how old do you think I am? 36. I'm 36. Well, we don't have the time for me to pass my driver's license around, but yes, Connie. You bet. Connie wants to know what's the 21st digit of that series, and that answer is 0. Yeah, I still see each part of it individually. Yes.
The 43rd digit, for example.
That made my day. Thank you. I'm not trying to, run away from that. Six. What is the 43rd digit? That's the question. And the answer is a 6, and the 44th is a 4, and the 45th is a 9. I'm just proving that I'm not guessing. Well, thank you very much, guys. If you have any more questions.
Thank you, Rashad.